Good evening, welcome back to Virtual Pool 4 Online, and we are back for one of the few remaining matches in the tournament. This is on the one-loss side, and it's going to be between Mc Clarky and Cobra. Quick look at the bracket. We can see Mc Clarky has battled through a few matches in this one-loss side. If we look where he ended up, he landed up on the one-loss side here. He's beaten Sergeresh. He's beaten Snake Eyes very comfortably against Snake Eyes. Pretty disappointing performance by him. Then Mc Clarky went on to beat Mooncake, and what we thought might have been a bit closer than that. And then Mc Clarky went on to beat Tommy Yu. So Mc Clarky's been doing the battling to get this far, and now he's in against Cobra. And Cobra has arrived there because of the last match that we streamed. If we can get over here and find it. And it, of course, was the match against Larry. And Larry has played excellently in his last two matches because he had to. And he's taken out two of the strongest players in the tournament, or sent them to the one-loss side anyway. Larry beat Albinario 200 points to 111, and then Larry was even better in the match against Cobra, beating him by 200 points to 62. Now, what did Larry do? Well, Larry scored with pretty much every opportunity that he was given, and he scored good contributions, which gave him a good lead, and it puts the pressure on, and that's what one of these players is going to have to do tonight, because they're going to have to step up. Cobra's going to have to dust down the bruises and damage from that match and get this to work. And Mc Clarky, well, he's going to hope he marches on. Cobra will be the favourite, but as we've seen, if you can get in and you can get a score on the board, then you can make it very interesting. So we are about, couple of minutes away. Both players are here. Mc Clarky came in a little while ago, about 10-15 minutes ago, and Cobra's been in practicing before that, so everybody's here. We're all set to go. We're going to go at 1/2 the hour. It's just about 6:29 p.m. Here on the 18th of January 2021, but it's still the 2020 VP4 Straight Pool World Championships. And, well, who's to say what's going to happen? If we look down the bracket, we can see that Albinario got through in his last match against LS3. Comfortable win for Albinario. And now Albinario's up against Stubb, and the winner of that match is going to go on to play Hazard, who is going to have to up his game as well. Everybody's going to have to step up now. Everybody knows what you have to do. It's a bit too late in the tournament to still be thinking about what you've got to do.
11:58.
You've got to score.
Sounding great, Hugh.
Well, it sounds better. It doesn't sound 100%, but it sounds a lot better than what it did. And I've been doing test recordings and listening to them played back to see what it's like. And I'm just getting my head around this program.
Evening.
Good evening. Well, this room will go up any second now, and we'll get straight in. I've already got the cloth colour to the right colour, and we're all set to go.
Better sounding.
Right, there we go. Room is up. Let's get in before the players.
Hot 66. Ooh, that's echoing like crazy.
Well, it's
Nomad.
it might be to do
What's
with
the echo on text voice?
it might be to do with how this goes through the program. I need to I need to look at it more, because you'll get input sound and output sound and all of that stuff. But once I can mess with it a bit more, I'll understand it better. But and the main thing is you can hear me. Right, so both players are in.
66.
Oh, there's a
Can you
top down
turn
view.
off voice text?
Yes, I can. But then again, I'll miss half the chat.
Deus Nomad. It's on Game Sound Oswell.
Right, so Mc Clarky won the lag, and Cobra has been put into bat. And once again, Cobra's got the break all wrong. Now, Cobra paid heavily for that against Larry because Larry got in straight away, and I think he got either 40 or a 44 run. Hang on a second, guys. Right, that should be the voice to text or the text to voice thing off. I'll just miss some of the chat. So let's see what Mc Clarky can do from this chance. Well, he's got a hard job to do here with only 2 balls on the table, and he's got to take the 5 ball if he's going to try and get into the pack, I would think. From the 8, he's taken the 8 first. So, well, he's trying to draw to open something. Well, that's better than nothing, but it's still not ideal that he's going to score a lot off this. He has to get specific onto that 6 ball or on that 12 ball. Now both of them go, and depending on what side you're on them, depends on whether you can get into that pack to do some damage. And well, let's hope for his sake he's on the 2, because if he isn't, he's not in much else, I'm afraid. It's not looking good, and this is the difference between adding pressure and just scoring 3, and it looks as if it's just going to be 3, and Cobra will be quite happy to escape. But Cobra's had 2 breaks, this one and his last match, which both went disastrously wrong, and the first one he paid the price. This one I think he might get away with it unless Mc Clarky's going to call the bank. But whether he can see it, I think he might be able to make that 14. He might have to bend it slightly, a wee tad around that 13 to make the angle. I don't know whether he can get it clean enough. He needs to get the cue ball out of the way as well. And he's given it every chance. That's a good shot. He's given it every chance for the pace to get it in, and that was well done, because he had to just hope that line held enough to cheat the pocket, and got the job done. But again, more work to do. Every ball so far he's got work to do just to get something next. Well, that 7 will go. But it's so important for Mc Clarky's cause to capitalise from that mistake from Cobra. He has to get a score, and he'll do well to get out of this rack the way it's all sitting. Oh dear. Well, it was all going not too bad there, but he's made a complete hash of that one. And Cobra survives with very little damage. That's taking care of the cluster. So everything's pretty much available. But where's the brake ball going to be? What one is that going to? It might be the 11. Oh, I've started yawning. I've just had a big chicken curry there. Less than an hour ago, and of course the consequences of that are I want to fall asleep, I want to have a nap again. I think Cobra really wants to get on the board very quickly here from having escaped from oh yes, it's always fried rice. I hate plain rice, it's too bland. Having escaped the damage, and the damage being very minimal, they'll want to apply the same to Mc Clarky. And if Cobra finds his feet and he moves that cue ball well and he gets a good break, he should be off and running. Now it couldn't be any simpler to get on the break ball, just a little roll through, not much. It's a nice sharp angle. Well, he's coming out, but it's 6.5 a dozen. He has the angle is good. And now he needs that bit of luck, because you just don't know what's going to happen off the break. And, well, that's as good as can be expected. But he's only going to have the 3 ball, I think, and it looks like it. It looks like all he's got. So, oh no, he's got the 14, but he's also not got a combo there either. That 15, and looks like the 10 ball in the back rail. They're going to have to be dealt with. He's maybe a bit high in the 14 to actually bring that cue ball down to hit the 15 or the 10. He would much rather leave it as it is than taking any risk like that. So he's got the escape route, he's got the emergency backup ball over the corner pocket. The 12 ball will do fine where it is for the moment. Now, that 4 ball's tight to go into that corner without nudging that too. So there's another slight problem. So he's got 2 issues to deal with here. And whether he can, I think he's maybe the wrong side of the 5. Yes, he is. If he'd been a bit straighter, he could have run the 5 in and gone through. It looks too much, yeah. I watched another guy, I think it was, I can't remember what night it was, but it was, it might have been after I finished a stream, and I went onto Facebook and there was another guy on, there was a live video of him in Shooter's Pool, but it's the same, that all these guys all do the same thing. All they do is film themselves in a room playing people and stream it. And I get bored after a minute and left. Considering the guy was crap, that's another thing. The guy couldn't pot a ball. Who the hell wants to sit and watch that? Well, he could risk it off the 10 ball here and split that 4 and 2. He's got an angle to do it. If he just stuns it, gets a little chip, and that's the problem dealt with. So the 2 issues are gone, and now you can concentrate on the main part of the job, and that's picking off these balls and leaving what he prefers as a break ball. Right now it looks like the 1 or the 5. Had he been lower on that 8 ball, he would have potted the 9 into the left middle there. He's just blocked out. But the 9 is fine if you're up the table, because there's a gap between the 1 and the 5 anyway, so there's no problem there. But the problem will be if he doesn't get to it sooner rather than later. The odds are he might keep the 1 there and take the 5. And of course he's got that 3 ball up in the right rail. That's not doing much good up there. So he's obviously going to have to deal with that as well. Well, I've seen the weather forecast before I came online, and I think basically if you stay in Wales, the north of England, and those sort of areas, the Peak District, Cumbria, I think you're going to get sort of washed out in the next few days according to the forecast, and then the forecast for later in the week is that we have to get heavy snow. It sounds very interesting for driving to work at some point during the week, later in the week. So good evening to any latecomers, not that I've seen any other people arrive. Yeah, the forecast's pretty doom and gloom according to the last update I saw in the BBC News. Loads of rain. I mean, it's been pretty wet over the last few weeks anyway, so there'll be lots of water in the ground. The water table will be quite high up, so it's not going to. I mean, I heard on Radio 2 the day when I was driving home about roads that were flooded and that sort of thing. So that's today. Just think what it'll be after 2 days of solid pissing down. So there'll be people getting washed away, homes getting flooded, the usual. Well, it is the 1 ball. And once again, he's sitting pretty good on it. The run goes to 23. And, well, had it worked out for Mc Clarky, these could all have been his. Cue ball, that's the danger, running off that side of the pack. It's an angle. When you get into that triangle, you've got an angle line running up from, as we look from southwest to northwest, and that cue ball can run up the pack and squat across into the right middle. But it's a risk you have to take. There's no other way about it. That's why it's a bit of a lottery, the break ball, especially in these pockets. But he's looking good to continue the run, provided he can do a little bit of disturbance. And of course the other problems at 6 and 9, they're spaced apart, but they're not going anywhere. So there's work to do again. He's got 2 issues once again in this rack. And he's got a chance to deal with one of them now. If he can just cut that, whatever the hell ball it is at the 15 in the bottom right hand corner there. Well, aye, it is, and he could just check into them off that bottom rail, nudge the 3 or do something like that. He just has to get a wee bit of spin on it if he's going to try that. It looks as if he's going right English to check it and go straight, you see. I don't know whether that was a great idea, but he might not get a better chance to get to that other cluster. He checked it the other way to avoid running into them. And would you believe it, he can't see enough of the 2 to pot it, and he's on the 4 just. So that nearly backfired. Again, I keep saying this, if you watch the streams, if you leave things too late when you've already had an opportunity to do something, you might get to the stage where you don't have options. And he's got a chance again here. He has to check this with inside right to cut the 13 and come into them. Well, he's got a hit, and it's not really improved it much. He's not 1 ball out, and he's still stuck with those 3. But let's have a look at that 12 and 13, and that isn't set. So he can run the 13 into the right middle. It's not an easy cut because you're playing a blind pocket, but that's going to be a major issue, that 12 and 3, if he doesn't get there. And of course the 6 and 9 haven't moved either, so he's maybe going to have to go around the corner here. He's got the angle on the 6 to go forward and just around the corner and come into them and take a risk in opening them that way, unless he wants to leave a cut in the 13 into the right middle. He's trying to get high in the 13. That'll do the same job. He might even actually kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. If he can nudge that 12 onto the 9 and the 3 clips the 6, that'll open them all up. Sex boot. What the hell's that? Sex boot. Sex bull. Or the 6 ball. Right, I understand it now. Well, that'll do it. That's opened him up. And he's also created a break ball. So 3 ball will be left there untouched, unless he's deciding that the 6 at the back of the pack is going to do, which I don't ever think is the best place to be breaking into the pack. But you know, sometimes that's the only choice you have. You have to just make do. But the 3 ball looks favourite to me. Well, he doesn't want to block himself out in that 5, and he has done, and that now has caused a big issue. It's now going to have to be the back of the pack, because he's going to have to get rid of his 3. And that's upset the plan. And now it'll be the 5, then the 8, and down for the 9, I would think. Well, he's taking the 9 first, so that makes it more difficult. See, the thing is, if you leave the 9 there, and you can get good on the 9, it's much easier to get good in the 6. But if you took the 9 now and then had to got the table for the 5 and 8, it's a lot more difficult to get good in the 6. And now the problem is he's having to make a cut on the 8 ball, and the angle is way too much here. He's going to have to drag into this to kill it, and where's the cue ball going to end up? Well, that is a basic error there. These pockets are just going to gather anything that heads towards them, and the run has ended on 34, and Mc Clarky has a gift of an opportunity here to hit back. He's going to have to make a good shot in the 8 and then just drop through for that 9, but he can't go low in the 9. He has to go high on the 9, even if he has to brush into the 6. Well, that's now changed it. He's running up the table, and I don't think he can hold for the 9. Now there's one chance here that might work out, and that's running into the 9 and running into the triangle and breaking from the top of the table. How's that worked out? Well, it's not too good. It's going to be the safety. And so Mc Clarky's accumulation is just 2. Now we're going to get a little safety battle. But Cobra's got himself where he wants to be. He's got that lead. And Mc Clarky now has to get his pace right here, because the safety is the clip off the 8 and back along to use cover on that pack. But the danger is overhitting it. And if he overhits it and he squirts out, he should leave the 9 ball on. And he's got it right. Or has he? Does that 11 go? No, it doesn't. I was getting excited there. The 11's well covered. Nothing on in the pack. No, I haven't been on, and I haven't seen any of them. And that's locked onto the 5. Good evening, Keith. Oh, they won't be interested anyway. So there's a point away. Mc Clarky back to 6. Cobra back to 32. Now this is a wee bit more difficult for Mc Clarky, because he can't. Well, he's taking a big risk if he's going to try and run off a ball in that pack and come back into them. He's trying to get a ball to a rail. He's got a ball to a rail. But more importantly, the cue ball is locked up. Nothing doing there. And Mc Clarky, if this can be hit clean, Mc Clarky's in the same boat again. But I think, yeah, it's going to have to be a deft touch here. They might have to sacrifice another point. He can't get through to that 11 ball. He could have, if he could have clipped it and tried to come back behind the bunch. But all the time the bunch is opening, and at some point in the not too distant future, the chance is going to be available for somebody. Let's have a look at that. 12 and 14. That looks as if it's going to the jaw. Well, he could punch the 5 and just try not draw, try and stun it, but not get any backspin on it to run into that 13. Yeah, you can hit the 5 clean. The problem is he's going to hit the 4 as well, and he doesn't really know where they're going to end up. But the more important thing would be the cue ball and trying to just stop it stone dead. Well, that is not only a point gone, it's a poor safety by Cobra, because Mc Clarky has got a clean shot in the 8 ball and a good chance to get started. Now, let's have a look at where his option is here. I think we can all see where the option is. If we look at that, there's your break ball to get into that bunch and get them open. Now, how does he get on that one? Let's have a look. He can run through, come out, and go far enough, and he can get in there straight away. So this is the big one for his progress in this rack. This is all about just focusing on the pot and not worrying about the pack. You've got to make sure you pot the ball. Well, he's going to have a little combo. No problem with that. Because it's very risky to be looking at the 9 from where he's sitting there. That combo's not a problem. He's looking around and looking around, but the sooner he pots the combo, the more he can then look ahead. Just needs to run it in. It's not difficult. Simple cut across the 15 just to get the line onto the 7. Now then, it would be good to get rid of that 5, and if he gets a half decent angle on the 5 off this 2, he can just get rid of it, and maybe even if he was far enough, get the little nudge. Well, he's played the draw anyway, and he's also got another emergency escape route. So this is looking pretty good considering where the 10 ball is. 10 ball might be the break shot right in the bottom corner of the pack. 5 balls in the pack. The only problem is the 4 and the 11. I think he's just... Well, he's just got to find a way to get into that 11. And he can now, so again, immediately getting rid of the problem. Don't hang about when there's a problem to be dealt with. Get it done as soon as you get a sniff of it. Get it taken out. And everything's then at his mercy. Well, that's the thing you don't want to do. When you've got a potential break ball, you don't want to just run into it. He could have played that a lot slower and would have avoided that. So now he's got to rethink. The 6 ball is not great because it's way low in the pack. It's parallel with that back line or the bottom line of the triangle as we look. So it's not great. The 4 ball might be passable, but again, the 4 ball is good when you're there. It's good from this side. It's not great from that side, again, because of the distance from the rail. So I would reckon that the 4 ball is now the candidate. And the other problem with the 6 ball being so low in the pack on that left rail is that it's not on the rail, but it's because it's so low in the pack. You've got to dig into the cue ball as well as pot that 6 ball. So again, just keeping the emergency escape ball over the pocket, because it could also be the one that lets him get good on the 4. Well, he's taking it now for the simple reason that he's not getting any other shot. And I would suggest that he takes the 6 next if he's going to leave the 4 as a break ball. He's out too much of an angle in that 6. The 5 ball would have been better if he took the 6 and finished low in the 5 to run up the table. Now this has now got me thinking, what's he doing here? He's looking to leave the 6 then. But if he's going to play the 6 now, look at how difficult a shot he's got to actually get on the 4. So this is not guaranteed it's going to be good. Good evening, Albie. That needs to bounce. Now let's see how good he can get into this. It's going to be a good dig in the cue ball to get some meat into that bunch of balls. And it's worked out nice, a good touch. So the first objective for Mc Clarky is to get rid of that deficit. He does not want to leave this table on this visit and he's still trailing. It would be a failure. He's got to get in front. Once you've set yourself that target, it's then just progressing and building up a lead. And now he's going to open them. Well, that didn't work out great because he's stunned straight onto the 7 and done nothing, although he's landed on the 10. Now, how does that 10 look from his side? Well, if he just plays a little stun and gets good on the 12, if he leaves a high angle on the 12, he can then run into the bunch of balls again to have another go at breaking them. The 10 ball's ideal for getting there. Little stun off the 10 and just going between the 2 and the 12 would then give him the angle to pot the 12 into that corner pocket as we look and get the break in that little cluster there. He's not looking at it. Again, that was an opportunity to just improve the situation and he hasn't taken it. He might try again off this 4. He's got a slight angle to stun across. Take a bit of a risk. Now obviously those balls to the left of the 4, the 14, the 3 and the 10, they're not a problem, but the problem's that other little cluster and he's not got there. So he's had one chance on that whatever ball it was to drop down on that 12 in this bottom rail and get that break on the 9 and 13. He refused it. Is he going to regret it? Because now he's got maybe a couple more opportunities and it may well have to be off either of those 2 balls there where he can pot them. Maybe not at that angle, but then stun across into those and open them up. Because that 2 won't go or anything there, so, and there's nothing set there either, so he's running out of balls. He's going to have another go here. This is a bit straight though, if he's going to do it off the 5. But it needs a firm stun. The angle looks good to get the hit. No, he just stunned it across. He's going to try probably off the 3. Good evening. So welcome to all those latecomers. They just cannot get in here in time. Why is there a double sound? I don't know. That's as good as I can get it for the time being. Well, there'll be a double sound if you've got, I don't know whether it's something else you're running at the same time. I haven't a clue. It could be my setup yet. I'm still working on it. Now that's gone wrong. I think he's on nothing, so he's going to have to bite the bullet here and play the 9-12 combo. Well, is he looking at the? He's looking at the 9. He's surely not. What else is? Why is he looking that way? It's a 9 you want to be playing. The double sound is coming from the balls clattering. Sounds fine to me. Now, this doesn't need to be cut too much, this 9 ball. I mean, it'd be surprising how much room there is in that pocket. He doesn't want to overcut it and send that ball to the side rail. Yeah, well, it's only 23 and he's still trailing. The run is over. Just give me time, guys. This programme I only found yesterday, but it is a programme that effectively replaces the Realtek high definition audio software that should pop up on my PC and has ceased to pop up anymore, and I can't find it. So, given time, we may get it better at some point, but it's just so that you can hear me. I mean, 3 days ago I never had a mic. The bloody thing died. Well, that has to go down as a failure for Mc Clarky because he didn't get rid of the deficit. He still trailed, and Cobra's in with a break shot. Well, he can roll the 9 in. He can cut the 3 in, and if he cuts the 3 and he's brave enough, he can just run into that cluster there as well. It's not a difficult shot. Even if he just brushes the 2, he's got to open them up slightly. There you go. That's immediately dealing with the problem. And, well, I'm not saying that's down to what Mc Clarky did, but he had a chance early on in that visit to deal with a problem, and he left it. This is why you have to be on your toes all the time, every second you're at the table. There's not an issue with the 6 and the 10 because it's not a difficult combo to make. Excuse me. The only slight issue is that it's a bit tightish to try and squeeze the 12 past the 10. So there's a little bit of a nudge maybe needed just to improve that situation there. Cue ball, it's okay. Well, now would be a good time just to drop through and get rid of the 15 because it's serving no purpose there where it is tight in the rail. We immediately deal with that one. Well, he thinks that he's looking at this 12 to see if it'll just squeeze past. Still think he should be just taking the 15. As long as he draws back off the 15, he's got a shot. Either the 9 into the right middle or low enough for the 11. Well, that's gone badly wrong from the point of view that if he's going to play the 9, he's hampered. He might have to cut the 5 along the rail. But can he see it? Oh, he can get there, that's not a problem. Only problem is he really wants to run into something here to save the cue ball going up the table. It's more than likely that if he cuts that 5, he's either going to clip the 4 or run up and hit the 2. So he should be fine. If he's really unlucky, he'll miss everything and finish up in the top rail. Well, he's clipped to 11. And I think he's actually got himself in more trouble here. He might be okay with the 13 though. I think the 13's fine. He's back looking at this 12 now. It will definitely go when you look at it from there. But the 13's also an escape route. Good evening. I take it Larry hasn't taken any of your invitations yet, Semi. There's nothing on the bracket. So after I finish my shift tomorrow, I think I finish about 12:15 tomorrow. That's me got the rest of Tuesday off, Wednesday off, and Thursday off, and back on Friday. So as long as it's not starting at 9 o'clock on Thursday night, then I'll be fine. But I think there's still a fair bit of time in the deadline date, is there not? Well, Mc Clarky's probably back to the same position he was or was it Mc Clarky or was it Cobra? But that 10 ball was the break shot. It was a 6 ball, but it's now turned into a 10 ball in pretty much the same position. Although this one is below the rack, which makes it even more of an awkward shot. But Cobra is trying to extend his lead. And the lead is now 19. Well, the 4 ball is going to be it. That's just gone too far again. That's the problem. He's 3 inches too far north. Had he been a wee bit, half an inch south of the 2, it would have been much, much easier. And now he's having to run. He's having to run the cue ball. He might have to go 3 rails here. And he has to be careful. One thing he wants to do is avoid the 4 if he's going to do that. It looks as if he's going to stun. Yeah, he's stunning up, and I think he's played that pretty well. Okay, he's a bit further away than he would like, but it's make do with what you've got, and he's got a good angle to get the hit. Well, we had a 34 run. I'll tell you something, Cobra was put in to break, and he made another disastrous break off that he did against against Larry. And the only difference this time is that Mc Clarky only scored about 2 or 3 points off it, whereas Larry got that run of 40 or 44, whatever it was. So the break shot has worked out reasonably well. The run is 20, and he's going to do a bit of disturbing here, although he wants to be disturbing the balls above that 15, and so he's drawn into them, and that has got rid of the issue, and everything is now available. So now it's about picking them off. It's picking your way through them, trying to avoid running into balls that you don't need to run into, because you can easily make a situation that looks good. decidedly worse. Well, Larry's going to have to probably beat one of these players he's already beat twice if things go according to plan. He might end up meeting Cobra or Albinario in the final. It could happen. Then again, Semi-Pro might have something to say about that. He could end up meeting Semi-Pro in the final and have to beat him if Semi-Pro wins, so everything's up in the air. And his ad might cause an upset, especially in the one-loss side. A one-loss side, race to 150. If you get in and get a good run to start you off, it can turn the match in your favour. Well, let's look at what might be the break ball. That too would make do, but it's high on the pack. Those two balls in the triangle aren't any good. The 1 and the 7 are away from the rail, which always then means you're probably better going inside nearer the rail with the cue ball if you're going to use one of them. Or he might end up with a 9. And of course that 10 ball's hanging top side of the middle pocket. So you've got to get up there for that 10 ball. And he might do that now. He might also get rid of the 1. Well, it looks now, I think it looks the possibility that he's going to go up the table for his second last ball. Well, he's now thinking, but he could go up the table for that 10, which would make it easy to get on the 7 for the break shot. So it looks now it's going to be the 9. But why he didn't run up the table to get rid of the 10, I don't know. Because this now means he's now having to let that. He's the wrong side of the 10 as well, I think. Let's have a look. Yep. Wrong side of the 10 ball. And this is now on the brink of going wrong here. I mean, he just needs to check the cue ball. A wee bit of, not much, but just drop it in with a wee bit of right spin just to send the cue ball out so that he can leave an angle in the 5 to stun over to leave the angle in the 9 to kick the back of the pack. Well, it's all about this angle. Now he needs to get off the rail. That's not great. He's going to have to punch this, and it might go stone dead on that pack. Well, that's worked out perfect because he hit the right corner ball, and the cue ball didn't travel far either after the hit. So fairly straightforward drop in the 7, and he's off and running. The run now is 34, and a lot more to come at this visit. And of course we know now, and Mc Clarky knows full well, that he's going to have a lot to do if and when he gets back to the table. And that's where mistakes can happen. And did somebody say Mc Clarky's used all his extensions? Yep, I have lost it altogether. I'll tell you why, or I'll tell you what happened. Well, I did tell you the other day, didn't I? I had a Windows update and it caused a problem with my email. My email wouldn't open. And then when I got the new headset, when I first started working with the new headset and plugging it into because this headset doesn't go into the USB, it goes into your sound card, you know, the pink and the green plug. And when I plugged it in, my Realtek software would pop up and ask, "What have you plugged in?" So it knows what you're using it for, and then it allows, you know, it's got an equalizer and everything in with it to tinker about with it. And but all of a sudden, unplugging and plugging things in and trying to tweak the Windows sound settings, when I tried it again another time, the thing wouldn't pop up, and it's not in your programs list. The Realtek software, it doesn't show in your programs list. When you type in Realtek, it doesn't find anything. So when I was plugging things in, it ceased to work. So I then decided I'll get my email working again, because even if I went into Windows apps to open my email, it still wouldn't open. So I used that Windows Repair program, which you can download off the Major Geek site. And you just you boot to safe mode and you let it run, and then it goes through a whole lot of tests, fixes whatever it finds is wrong, and then you reboot your PC, and lo and behold, your Windows email's all fixed, stuff like that. But Realtek's never come back, so I needed a software program like Realtek that would allow me to mess with the sounds. And this has made it, certainly, I listened to the one that I recorded with this new bit of software, and I listened to that last stream, and it is better. It's not perfect, but it's passable for the time being. I'll maybe see if I can find more information on this to adjust the output setting, because what the program does is it takes all your sound in. You've got new default sound settings in your Windows, which is this program, and then you have the sound coming into that program, which then goes out from the program to wherever you want it to go. In this case, to you guys, so that you can stream the audio from your PC to YouTube, but the audio is going through this, what's it called again? Sound, whatever it is, banana. But anyway, it's not a problem now that I've got it working, and it's livable. I would like it better, but I need to learn more about the program. So here we go. It's an inside. I like to call these inside break shots, because it's always a good angle. It's all about the pot. You know you're going to hit the pack, but you don't want too much juice going on with the cue ball. But the run is 47. The cue ball is running loose, but it's running safe. And once again, there is more to come. And all the time, Mc Clarky knows it's a tall order. It's a big visit he's going to have to put in if it comes around. And again, straight away, we still have a cluster to be dealt with. Let's have a look and see. There is nothing set anywhere there in that cluster of 4. So he has to just find a ball that'll give him a 2-in-1 shot. The first one is he pots the ball, and the second part of the shot is being able to nudge them. And because that cluster's still there, he's not really decided what the break ball is yet, because he can't really do that. The 7 ball would look good, but it might not be there by the end of this. He might have to use the 7 ball to get into them, and it looks like it. He's going to have to stun into them, and he's going to have to rethink where the break ball's coming from. He might even create one off this if he doesn't hit it too hard. He just wants a stun and a reasonable nudge just to free them open. And that actually has created a break ball. That's worked out perfect. That 15 ball sitting prime position. And that will do very nicely indeed. As soon as you get that worry out of the way, then you can just concentrate on the simple job of picking your way through the remaining balls. So he's looking good here. The run is 53, and it should be a lot more. And already he's taken this match away from Mc Clarky. Once again, it's a good pace. It's Larry pace that Cobra's playing at. You know, he's potting the ball, and he's just looking at that next shot and where the next one's going, and finding that good pattern to eventually just maybe drop through that 1 ball into the left middle pocket. He could drop it through into the right middle pocket, but he's got an easy second last ball to get to his 15. It's just what he wants to do here. I think if he could have got through to the 5, he'd have got rid of it. He could take the 9. Just trying to stun across. He maybe didn't go far enough to get onto the 9. So the assumption now is that that's going into the left middle pocket, but it's again, you don't want to be taking cuts like that with the cue ball running away up the table, so it is going to be the 5 and then probably the 9, because if he gets fairly straight in the 9, he can roll through and run the 10 up that table. Well, it's the players that do have that shot control. Little delicate little stuns, soft movement of the cue ball, and very little cue ball travel that helps you construct a run. The run is 59. Cobra gets to 90. He's only 60 away. And now he can get into the cue ball. And he just wants to come up the table. Should be jacking up a wee bit here, I would assume, unless he's going to run across. But no, he's jacking up just to get that little draw back and leave the angle. It's a wee bit shallower than he would maybe like. Again, he doesn't want to kill. This could easily kill stone dead onto a ball. He needs a wee bit of movement in the cue ball here, just to come away from the pack. Just half a tip, and a little stun, and just come away from the pack like that. So that's more a control break when you play it that way. You don't need to put lots of draw into it to do something stupid, because you're only going to run into a pocket down here. But you want half a tip and a good firm stun, so that that little draw action just takes it away from the pack. If you just stun that plain ball, you can just lock right onto a ball. So again, he's in good shape here. Now, that 3 ball, in fact the 4 ball's fine because he's going to do damage here. And that's perfect. That is everything taken care of. He's back to square one. He's got everything at his mercy. He's got an emergency breakout shot, that 9 ball, if he needs it. So he's looking good here. The run goes to 64. And he's looking to take this match out right here and now. That's the only danger when you've got lots of balls still on the table. When you're playing those little runs, a little stun off the rail and out, there's always that chance it can just go wrong by locking onto a ball and you have nothing. But that's the risk you have to take. But if you find the gaps and you avoid any hits, you should be home and dry. And straight away, he has 2 choices for a break shot. They're both good. That 5 ball in the right rail, or just off the rail, that's in good shape. And the 13 is just as good. So it's always good to be spoilt for choice when you've got the balls nicely spread. So there's no excuse here. It's going to take something catastrophic to happen for this to go wrong and not get to a break ball. I think he was thinking about running that 3 up the table because he's reasonable behind it. He could, well, he's now got a choice. If he's still going to leave a choice, he'll take that 9 ball. But if he's now going to take the 13, he's committed. So now he's committed. So it's going to be the 5. And of course, again, he's got a good adjacent ball to get good on the 5. In fact, I was going to say the 9, but neither of them are comfortable. The 12 would have went, I think. I can deal with it now, but that would have been the adjacent ball to get good on the 5 easily. The run is 72, and that's going to... Is that not Cobra's highest run, or is it? I think it's near enough it. Certainly takes him up the leaderboard on the top 10 high runs, and that's just beating Stubbs anyway. Well, is he going to draw out, or is he going to run through? He's drawing out, and needs to keep going. The further he goes, the better. And he's right on that corner ball. And this is more or less a similar shot, just half a tip. He's playing lots of draw by the look of it. He's playing lots of dig in this cue ball. He didn't need to do that. Just a similar shot with half a tip would have done, because he's now miles away from the balls. I mean, he's odds on to get the 9 or the 12 here, but he's not necessarily get the cue ball under great control from that distance, so that's the problem. And now this, again, because the balls are quite close, he's taking a risk here. And it's worked out okay. Just as well I get rid of that text-to-speech thing. Arseholes arrived. Well, now he's caused a slight problem here. I mean, he could just drop that 15, and it's a good break ball where it is, but he might want to just drop it in if he can and run that 11 into the middle. And maybe he's got too much angle. No, he hasn't. I'm pretty certain he can get that 11 into the middle if he just drops the 15 in. But he might be... Well, now he's certainly going to be dropping the 15 in unless he wants to cut the 4. It's getting a bit ugly here. Well, to me, he should just drop the 15 and rethink the break shot. The 12 ball might have to do, even though it's out into the table. The one just above and to the left of the 15, but he wants to just drop onto that 11 and get rid of it, because it's just awkward where it is. So now it could either be the 8 or the 50, the 12 ball for the break. So the run is 81. Is this going to be only the third 3-figure high run in the tournament? Semi-Pro can relax because his high run isn't going to be beaten. Obviously can't be, because it's only a race to 150 anyway. But Bedhead, is Bedhead watching? I haven't heard him, or if he has done, he's gone quiet. But Bedhead's high run is under threat, so he could fall to third in the leaderboard. But that's still a wee bit away yet. There's still work to do. Well, I think it's pretty obvious that I think the 12 ball's going to be it. He's a bit straight in the 5. That's the only slight problem here. He might want to have tucked away that 6 as well while he was at it. He might just draw back and miss it and play it in the same pocket. I think he can do that. He can draw back clean, miss the 6 and just... Well, he's got other plans in mind here. He's stunning out and spinning. Oh dear, the yawning started big time. Well, that's good. That's good to see. There's only the 2 players and me in the room, which means that everybody's watching in the stream, whoever they are, apart from all you guys. How many's on Twitch and YouTube? Probably not more than 15 in total. So here we go. He's going to go... Is he going to go... Now this is where the dilemma is. This ball is away from the rail. Is he going to go inside? Yes, he is. That's always the better shot when that ball's away from the rail like that. Now again, he doesn't have to worry. He's only got one aspect to this shot to take care of, and that's the pot. A nice firm stun again, because the cue ball does the rest. He just doesn't want to get, again, too much fizz on it. And that'll work out pretty nice. It's not a beautiful break, but it'll make do. The run goes to 90, and there are problems ahead. There are 2 main clusters to deal with, and we've also got that 14 and 7. Oh, 16 on YouTube, that's impressive. I think there's 16 on YouTube, but only 2 yous are chatting. Well, 3, if you include Stub. Well, he's got a chance off the 11 to deal with one problem. He's got a chance off a 1, the cutting the 1 to deal with another one. He might even nudge something onto this. No, it hasn't worked out that way. And this is threatening to come to an end here. He's going to need a big move because we've got a major problem now on the right hand side. There's no improvement there. I don't think he can get to the 8. He can cut that 11 in and come across. So now it's going to be the 13 to do some damage. Now there's nothing set with those in the cluster, so he's played the draw, he's got the break, and he's still got 2 remaining problems and running out of balls. He needs to cut the 6 and deal with one of them. He's trying it off the 15 to go bottom rail, side rail and into the 9 and 2. Because he can pot the 6 and run into the 9 and 2. I don't know why he isn't doing it. He might be leaving it as a break ball, but he's going to have to get moving here. The run goes to 95. So just a little nudge through to clip the 7. He doesn't want to clip it too gentle. He could just clip it and leave it lying against the 14. Like that. I mean, commentators, I saw that coming, guys. He had to be a wee bit more aggressive to make sure that wasn't going to happen. He's just brushed the 7 and brushed it off the rail back into place to leave the same problem. Now, how does that 7 look? Well, that's not good for a combo. So we've got a serious problem in this run continuing, and he's only 4 away. Now, if he wants to get to 4 figures, he's got 4 balls to do it, but he's going to have to be a bit more positive than that. Now, well, the one shot to break those 2 is still leaving himself on the 6 off this 8 ball, running through, and he can do that now. Now, the other thing he might be thinking about ahead here is to get high in the 10. It's a big ask, but he's got limited choice, but he might try to get there on the 10 and come down here, maybe hit the rail and kick into them. Just look to see that if that's going to happen, because the 8 ball's in a good position up there to leave himself on the 10, but he's now thinking again another way. He's going to look at using the 9 to get to the 7 and the 14. So Cobra's working hard, thinking all the time. He's not gone far enough, really. What ball is that? Is that the 4? That's the 4 ball. That could have done with being straighter on this 4. It just means he's having to work the cue ball a bit more. Because he's not straight, he's just having to draw it into position. And now he's on the 9. He's well inside the 9, and he's going to have to make sure, though, he can't just drop this in. He's going to have to stun across a bit here, I think, from this angle. Ideally, he wants to hit the rail and then hit them. That way he knows he's going to be free. Well, he's hit them direct. How's it worked out? It's worked out okay as far as opening them up. But that 14 ball, well, it's in the pack. And it's going to be the 2 ball for the break shot. The run goes to 102. And he should be okay for getting half decent on it. Just send it up the middle of the table. Up to the centre spot would be ideal in terms of a snooker table. Well, he's gone inside and left. And this is where he just got to be careful he doesn't miss the top of the pack. He might have to just tweak this a wee bit to make sure he's going to get there, but not chicken out in the pot. He wants to get these open. Cue ball running loose. Cue ball is safe. He's got the 3 ball and he's off and running again. Now that was hard work, that rack, and that was well done because he did have to work and think. And if you do it all and put it into effect, that's how you end up getting to 104. And so he's now second on the leaderboard, tied with Bedhead. And just this 3 ball or the 4, whichever he wants to take. The 4 will go past the 7. Yeah, he's just going to drop it in. So that now gives him second place in the leaderboard. And still counting. And it may well be that Mc Clarky has seen his last shot, because Cobra now is edging ever closer to the finishing line, and he may well be stalled on a clean run out here to the end, or as they say in cricketing terms, not out. He's only 12 away, but this will put him. I mean, this is a good response from Cobra, considering he took a battering off Larry in that last match, and it proves he's still well capable of causing damage to anybody, Stubb included. So 11 away, many's left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He needs another rack. Well, the 7 ball is again, it's parallel with the bottom of the triangle. It would do. The 1 ball would do a lot better though, because the 1 ball is ideal. And again, it's easy to get to the 1 ball. So 7 away, the run goes to 112. Now, 7 ball, but he needs to get the cue ball out off the rail. And he'll play this. He needs to be careful of how much he does with this cue ball here, because he doesn't want to run straight across into this left middle pocket. He wants to stay well away from that. He's going inside to check the cue ball. He's going to have to just try and get straight on the 11. And that's what he's trying. And he might go forward and a wee bit of inside, or is he playing a little stun again? He doesn't want to come back too far. Yeah, a little draggy shot just to kill the pace, and he's perfect. So, 2 balls away. So he just needs to land on anything off this break. The run is 117. And that's it. It's all over, folks. In goes the 6 as well. And Cobra has run out 119 to take Mc Clarky out of the tournament. And Mc Clarky won't argue with that. That was well done. A strong response from Cobra. And it takes him right into second place in the leaderboard. And he wins the match 150 points to 28. We'll have a quick look at the bracket. Not that there's much going to change. If I can find it, where the hell is it? And we'll see that Cobra is already through. And, well, it's going to have to now wait until what happens on the winner's side. Because that obviously is the match on the top half of the draw on the one-loss side. If we look down here, we've now got the only other match that can progress is the Stubb and Albinario match. So let's hope they arrange their match soon. They've got until the 24th of January to get that done. Sorry, no. The 20th, isn't it? That's only 2 days away, so it's going to have to happen over the next day or two, and I should be able to get it. So let's get it organised, guys. There's no point in waiting any longer. Get it set up. Set it for whatever time you want tomorrow night or whenever, and I'll be there. So with that, guys, thank you for watching. Stay tuned because we're bound to have the Albinario Stubb match at some point, and let's hope it's going to be as good as this one. So with that, I am off. I'll bid you good night. So do the usual, stay safe, keep your distance, wear your mask properly, not like the arseholes that come into my store with a mask on that's below their nose and not listening to what the bloody advice says over the tannoy. Wear the thing bloody properly if you're going to wear one. If not, you might as well stick it in your arse, it'll be just as effective. So I will see you again, guys. Take care, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you